Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you how you can save seed from tomatoes that you've grown yourself so you can keep growing tomatoes year after year without having to spend money on the seeds. And in this video I'm going to show you two different methods to save seed, so stay tuned and I'll show you how. Hi, I'm Emma from Misfit Gardening and I'm here to help you create a self-sufficient homestead even if you live in the suburbs. And in today's video we're going to be saving seed from tomatoes. So let's talk about some of the things that you're going to need. The first stage in seed saving for tomatoes is you need some ripe tomatoes, because when the tomatoes ripe, that's when the seeds inside are ripe. You will also need a knife, a chopping board and a glass jar or a tall glass or something similar, because the first stage is that we've got to ferment the seeds to get rid of the jelly coating that's on them.
First things first, you're going to need your jar and a sharp knife. Be very careful with the sharp knife. We don't want to have any accidents. What you're doing here is basically scraping out the seeds, which are held in these little pockets or cavities around the core of the tomato. Using your thumb makes it really easy, and if you cut your tomato lengthwise, it also makes it very easy to do. This is a great activity to be doing whilst cooking or preparing tomatoes for canning. That's exactly what I'm doing here, is I am saving them from a few different actual tomato fruits, so I can be sure that I've got some seed that will be viable and grow. So I'm using my thumb here to scrape it out. This one's a little softer, so it's a little bit more messy than what the other one was, and you'll find that if you've got overripe tomatoes. Next, let's fill the jars with some water. And all we're going to do is I'm just going to put some filtered water on them. And I'm just going to let these ferment, and what's going to happen is all the junk and the non-viable seeds are going to be towards the top, and all the good seeds are going to be towards the bottom. But this filtered water is going to help with the fermentation process, because we need to have that happen so that the seeds and the coating that's on the seed is going to break down. So I'm just going to leave these somewhere that's kind of warm-ish. I will probably pop them somewhere where they're not going to be in direct sunlight. I'm just going to let them hang out there for a couple of days. So in the next 3 days I will check on them and they should be good to go. So I just want to show you on this container that's busy fermenting. I've got a layer of seeds here at the bottom. They're all viable, and I've got a layer at the top here of things that are kind of just various junky bits of plant matter and non-viable seeds. So that's what's going to happen, and that is perfectly normal for that to be happening within your jar. So don't panic if you see that. These are the good seeds at the bottom, this is all the garbage at the top. These are two different varieties that we were saving from. The first one is Jersey Devil and the second one is Black Icicle. You can see I don't have a lot of kind of garbage on the top of the Jersey Devil here. Most of the seeds are actually at the very bottom, which means that there are viable seeds, which means that they're going to grow and germinate, and hopefully we'll get a good harvest from them next year. The Black Icicle one, we have a lot of gross floaties in here. I've also got a lot of stuff kind of kicking about at the bottom here as well. So what we're going to have to do is kind of gently kind of get this stuff off and then give everything a good clean up and rinse. Sometimes while you're fermenting you might actually have mold that appears. So you can see that here, it's these two white bits at the top here. That's mold that's starting to form. You can also see we've got seeds on the top here, and we've got kind of bits of the tomato plant from the insides from us scraping out the seeds in there. This layer here at the top is all stuff that isn't going to grow, okay? It's non-viable seed, it's decaying plant matter. That stuff's all going to get taken off, and it's all the seeds at the bottom which are the good stuff, and that's what's going to be saved for us to grow next year. So don't panic if you see mold, it is normal. The next stage is going to be us cleaning the seeds and letting them dry, and to do that you're going to need a sieve or a colander. You want something that's got quite a fine mesh to it so you can keep your seeds contained and not lose them down the drain, because we're going to wash them with some cool water. You're also going to need a pen and some coffee filters, or a paper plate, a paper towel. You basically want something that is going to make it easy for you to write on, and is going to allow air to move through and around to dry them out, and that's what makes a coffee filter kind of ideal. That, we have a lot of them at our house because we drink so much coffee, but for you it might be paper towels or paper plates. So let's get stuck in. So the black icicle ones, we actually need to try and sort of scoop this stuff off, so I'm just going to use a spoon to kind of carefully pull the majority of it out. So you can see we needed the fine mesh to keep the seeds in place whilst the, you know, the junky plant matter and stuff gets pushed through the sieve. Clean them up good. Think about the coffee filters, you can really spread out the seeds if you need to. And they don't disintegrate when they're wet like a paper towel might. It doesn't matter if you're using the bleached bleached coffee filters or the unbleached ones. It's not going to affect your seeds particularly. I'm just very gently like running my finger over them to break them up a little bit because they've stuck together, and I'm going to have to do this every couple of days just to really break them apart so they dry out thoroughly, because what the seed needs is it needs air to get all the way around it so it properly dries out. And that process could take a couple of weeks, a couple of days. It really depends on the conditions within your home. If you live somewhere dry like I do, it's going to be much quicker to dry out than somewhere that's hot and humid like in Alabama or Texas, somewhere like that. So just keep checking on them, and the way to tell if they are ready is that the seed, if you put it between your two fingers, and well, finger and thumb, and you try to push it together and bend it, if it's dry it will snap, and if it's wet like it is here, it just bends. It's not doing anything. See, it's just bending, it's not breaking at all. So that's how you can tell. But what if you don't have time to ferment your seeds? Well, don't worry guys, I've got you covered as well. All you're going to need for this super quick way to save your tomato seed is a paper towel, a pen, a knife, and of course your ripe tomatoes. First things first, I'm going to write down the variety of the tomato and the year on the paper towel. So this is a and that's so I don't forget, because I grow so many similar looking tomatoes. Okay, all these seeds. Just gonna scrape. And now moving them kind of over the paper towel so they've got a chance to dry out. And that's it. Now I'm just going to put this paper towel somewhere that's going to be cool and dry and let this dry out. And then when I want to plant one of these next year, I just peel off or like carefully tear out the little tomato seed, plant it in some soil. Jobs are good and it's done. Let me know in the comments which version of seed saving for tomatoes are you going to use. Are you going to use the fermenting version or are you going to use the paper towel version? Hi. So I know that things are super busy. At this time of year, right? You're trying to, harvest things out of the garden. You're trying to get on top of everything before winter comes. Maybe you're even trying to plant some more plants so you can get another crop before the winter really arrives and the snow gets here. But to help you guys out, because I know how busy you are, I have created a free downloadable PDF that will help jog your memory on how to ferment your tomato seeds and process them that way. So if you want to grab it, there's a link down in the description. Just hit it and it will take you there so you can get it sent to your email.